My wife's also started teaching around the same time, and we've both been paying into the pension system since we began. Our parents, our mothers are both also school teachers in the New Jersey system and both taught over 30 years. I'm here with you today to meet an objective. Teachers will recognize that Path to Progress is a systematic attack on teachers and the collective bargaining process, and that they will be able to communicate their concerns with legislators and voters in November. What I'd like to give a little bit of background is when we first accepted our teaching positions, there was a compensation package that we were given. For each of us, we were given the NJ Direct 10 insurance plan, which was fully funded by our local boards of education, and we were given a salary. And that salary started low, but it grew with us. And for both of us, in about 15 years, we reached the top of that salary scale, and then it would remain stationary. And so the plan with that was we all knew going into this profession that we would gradually increase salary as our family grew, and that we'd always have health insurance, which is obviously essential. Now, what's happened in those same years is obviously inflation, obviously health insurance costs have gone through the roof. So what happened is in 2011, Chapter 78 was enacted. And Chapter 78 was dubbed as a bipartisan plan led by Governor Christie and Steve Sweeney to help to fix our pension shortfall, okay, which of course was caused by former governors. So fix the pension shortfall. But also, at the same time, lessening the burden on taxpayers because of the increased health insurance costs. Now, teachers all recognize that the health insurance costs are increasing a lot. And we also understand that we have a little bit of a role in that and paying for that. But when we were first hired, this is what we were getting. We had an understanding that we would get the insurance and our salaries would grow. There was no idea that down up around here, it would start to go, whoa, whoa. And that has been what has happened to many of the people in my profession, where their salary has gone up and then gone down. And that is the biggest problem we have with how Chapter 78 affected us. It started with 1.5% of our salary we needed to pay towards our health insurance. And then it morphed into people paying as little as 3% of the plan to as much as 35% of the plan on a sliding scale based on how much money they make. Now again, this all comes down to the fact that health insurance prices have gone up. So let me share with you what the 2019 costs are for the standard plan that most teachers get. And you'll see just how expensive health insurance is. $36,083 for the family plan, $25,230, that's terrible, $25,233 for the 2-adult plan, $23,467 for the parent and child plan, and $12,616 for the single plan. So I totally get that the costs of health insurance are high, and we recognize that there needs to be something done. However, at no point has our government made legislation to have health insurers lower their premiums. Instead, they're just having us pay more to lessen the burden on the taxpayers. I want to go back to Chapter 78 because you'll notice that the two things came together. They grouped the two together, and that's how they got the bipartisan support. One side of the aisle was only willing to do this if it would fix this. And the problem is now that the pension costs are actually finally reaching the part where they've got to make the full pension payment, now they're realizing they don't have the money for it, and again, they're blaming teachers. So what Mr. Sweeney has put out with his Path to Progress plan is to make all teachers go to a much less expensive plan. But I want to point out a couple of things that have happened in the process. Knowing that healthcare is out of control, I work in a school district that's forward thinking. And our business administrator and their team has sorted out and created a district negotiated plan that's much less expensive than the standard plan, that mirrors the plan because it's privately insured. That plan is only $31,711, $23,022, $19,394, and $11,817. Still way higher than what it was back in 1999 when I started teaching, but a much lesser cost. Now, in my current standard plan, for what I pay because of my tier of how much money I make, I'm supposed to pay 24% of my family plan. That's what my responsibility is. That's a little bit over about $8,000, what I'm expected to pay. However, through collective bargaining, our union has worked hard with our Board of Education, and we've negotiated back, which was agreed upon after the sunset of the Chapter 78 law. And now, in my level pay, I pay 21% of my family plan. Now, it's a lesser cost of a plan, which is beneficial to the board. I pay a smaller amount, which was something we agreed upon in negotiation. Instead of having salary added to the top of the scale, instead we lessen that burden to help everyone and to be more balanced in with the overall compensation package. That was something that we did at the local level to help curb these problems. Now, what Mr. Sweeney's offering with this Path to Progress is a much less expensive plan. And when I write this out, you're going to be like, well, geez, we should all do that. And that's exactly what he wants you to think. He wants you to think, wow, with this cost of only being $24,304, with it only being $17,422 and $15,593 and $8,711, well, wow, that's so much less than what we're paying. And what he's doing is he's telling teachers, you guys, you got to see how this is here to help you. And that's the problem, is the way he's presented this at every level is that this is going to help teachers because we're going to be paying a smaller amount because it's a less expensive plan. But what he's not being clear on is just how terrible that plan is in comparison to the promise that was made. You'll notice here it says NJ Direct 10 and here it says NJ Direct 15. That's because we have changed over the course in time, and almost every district in New Jersey has switched through collective bargaining to the lesser expensive New Jersey Direct 15 instead of the NJ Direct 10. That's because collective bargaining works. It's an agreement with both parties rather than a unilateral disaster towards our people. And that's what this was, and that's what Senator Sweeney's plan is going to be. In addition to the lower cost of the plan, he has other ways he wants to save taxpayers. One of them is through the insurance waiver. You may not realize, but many teachers are married to teachers or other state workers. So as a result, our compensation package was that increasing scale and NJ Direct 10. Well, with two teachers getting a plan that costs over $30,000, what we've agreed upon is a small percentage of that, usually between $2,000 to $5,000, that is given to the person who waives that plan. That saves a school district over $30,000 when that decision is made. When Chapter 78 was enacted, they said any time that two employees are both in the state health benefit plan, they can't get that waiver anymore. That was part of that unilateral action against teachers. Now, with the new Sweeney plan, because what they found is some schools do a private plan that's no longer in state health benefits, people are still getting the waiver. Well, they want to make sure that teachers don't get that money. And so what they're trying to do is to slash it so that teachers cannot get that waiver anymore. In addition, one of the agreements way back when is that each year teachers get a certain number of sick days. Now, you've got some teachers who are ill and need those days. Other teachers who are able to get through the school year without using sick days, and they collect sick days. And then upon retirement, they can have what they call a sick leave buyout. And what happens is that is something that is negotiated. It's part of the contract that the teachers agree to. And in our contract, it's like 1/200th of your pay divided by 3 based on a limit up to X number of dollars. Well, what the governor wants to do, what Senator Sweeney wants to do is he wants to cap that buyout at $7,500, which to anybody who's not getting a buyout like that, I understand. But this, for a lot of people, is a way to appreciate the fact that they didn't need a substitute teacher for all of those days. This is a way to encourage people to attend work regularly. I have, in 20 years of teaching, more than double that coming to me. Right now, my school contract limits me to $18,000. And the state law in Chapter 78 changed that to $15,000, and now they're coming back for more. And this is again trying to encourage teachers to retire now before it's enacted. They keep telling you, oh, we're just going to do this to the new hires. But guess what? We're all part of the same team, and it affects us. But this has nothing compared to how this plan is going to hurt us. If you take a look over here and just compare the current NJ Direct plan, and of course the plan that my school district uses that we get through private insurance, but it matches this plan, compared to the plan he wants us to take. And you'll see if we just go to the doctor, it's only $5 more, that's his argument. We go to a specialist, it's $20 more. We go to urgent care, it's $20 more. We go to the hospital, it's $250 more. And that doesn't seem like that big of an amount. And being that switching from the New Jersey Direct 15 plan to the 2035 plan that he's suggesting, a gold plan versus a platinum plan, those aren't the reasons that I have a problem with it. The reasons I have a problem with it is labs and imaging. That's currently something that I have never had to pay for. It's been part of my health insurance plan. Here, I need to pay 20% after I'd already paid $2,000. So if this week I go for a blood test and it costs $700, I pay that $700. Next week, my daughter goes for an MRI and it's $2,000. I'll pay the remaining $1,300 that I owe to my deductible, and then the rest of it I'd pay 20% of. And then the following week when my son has to have x-rays, all that money, 20% I'm paying. Where up till now, we've paid none. So as you're telling our people, oh, we're going to save $1,000, $1,500 because you're switching and we're not going to have to pay as much, we're going to be paying here, and we're going to be paying a lot. Have a baby, you're going to be paying 20% after that $2,000 deductible. You're going to have durable medical equipment. You're going to have an ambulance or a prosthetic or private duty nursing. Sorry, you're going to be out of luck. Up till now, you've been paying 10% with no deductible. Now you'll be paying 20% after that $2,000 deductible. So you're going to see across the board, this is going to decimate any savings we might realize. And again, it comes down to one big thing. All of this is coming out of my pocket to save some money for taxpayers. And I get it. But the way that Steve Sweeney is pushing this is he's making it clear that teachers aren't as important as the regular people, and it's fine to just keep taking money out of their pockets. He's shown it when he went back here in Chapter 78, when he wanted to fix this shortfall, and while he was at it, he robbed me of a ton of money. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Since Chapter 78, I paid over $50,000 towards my health insurance over those years, when I was promised this plan at no cost. And now, they're taking more. Thanks for watching. I hope we've met our objective. I hope you'll call your legislators, find out what district you're in, call them up, let them know that you oppose Path to Progress as it's written, and that you will not support any legislator who supports it. Thank you very much.